Welcome back to the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. Go for good times, go for GoMart. With me now is head men's basketball coach Bob Bolen. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Jagger, thank you for having me.
All right, Coach, you extended your winning streak to 5 this past week. You started out on Wednesday with a 91-86 win at Davis and Elkins. Hard place to win. 22 points from Don Cullen Lewis, 21 from Jalen Knott. What did you think of the win there on Wednesday?
I thought it was a great win. I think D&E is really good. And if you look after that, they played West Liberty to a 4-point game after that. So, watching them on tape, I thought they were really good. And then after playing with them, playing against them, I even thought they were better than what I originally thought. We had 5 guys in double figures. Prince had 16 rebounds, which was huge. And again, how many games we had, Jagger? 14?
Yeah.
11 of them have been one-possession games with less than 5 minutes. So we're getting better in those type of games and finishing. And I thought it was just a huge team win.
And one of those 3 games that has been a one possession was Saturday. You took care of business with West Virginia Wesleyan. It was a 99-74 game. It really wasn't close. I mean, maybe there early it was, but your team was able to pull away. And one of your leading scorers, Jalen Knott, only had 6 points on 8 shots. So what do you think of your team's win?
Oh, I thought, again, another great win. 5 people in double figures. I shared the ball. Jalen, as a point guard, he's going to have games where he gets 25. He's going to have games where he gets 6. He just has to read the defense. He also had 9 assists.
9 assists, yeah.
Yeah, so he's doing a great job of realizing when to shoot, when to lead the team, and that's a fine line. And thought Callum Crossman came in and gave us great minutes. Just a good team win.
And now coming up this week, it's 2 of the top teams in the Mountain East Conference. Starting out on Wednesday with West Liberty, nationally ranked team, haven't won at the ASRC since 2003. So what's the thoughts there as you head into West Liberty on Wednesday?
Well, I mean, you know what they're going to do. They're going to press and pressure, and we have to be able to take care of the ball, make great decisions, know when to attack their press and score, and when we don't have numbers to pull it out and run offense. And, I mean, it's always a hard-fought game.
Yeah.
But I think each year, this is my 3rd year, I think we've become a better team each year. And, we'll go up there and I don't know if it's confidence or I think we have a chance. I mean, just because we haven't won there in 2002 or whatever, I mean, I think we have a chance to win the game. Each year up there it's become closer. The home games with West Liberty, they beat us by 3 and 5.
Yeah, it's always been close. Yeah.
Well, it went to 7, but we fouled with 2 seconds to go. So I remember every play of the game, Jagger. But they're a good team, great team, but I think Glenville's a pretty good basketball team too, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
And you'll finish out the week with Wheeling at home on Saturday inside the Waco Center at 4. But Coach, we appreciate you coming in and good luck this week.
Jagger, thank you.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me now is head women's basketball coach Emily Stoller. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me on.
All right, Coach, you've extended your winning streak up to 8. Started out on Wednesday with Davis and Elkins on the road. It was an 88-63 win. You got a few double-digit scores. What did you think of the win there?
Yeah, game on the road there. We knew going into the game they've got a really athletic team this year. They're really young. They've got a couple good years ahead of them. With how we play, we knew it was going to be a tough matchup for us. Being as athletic as they are, we knew that we were going to have to be pretty good defensively and stop them in the full court. And I think that we came out and did a pretty good job at that and put 4 quarters together to win that game there.
And you're at home on Saturday with West Virginia Wesleyan. It was a battle for first place. You guys ended up winning 95-84. What do you think of the win there? Because, I mean, you talked about last week you wanted to finish games stronger, and it felt like on Saturday that was a point of emphasis, and it really worked. So what do you think about Saturday's win?
Yeah, definitely high pressure, high intense game. Atmosphere was great. So happy with the support that we're getting this year, and that definitely helps add points to the scoreboard for us for sure. Battle for the number 1 position in the league as of right now, and I think our girls came out. They played hard. We had adjustments that we knew that it was going to be a scout-specific game going into the game. If we didn't listen to the scout and we didn't apply the things that we talked about and learned for the past 2 or 3 days at practice before the basketball game, that we weren't going to come out there with a win. So proud of the girls for putting together the scout and applying that to the game and our adjustments. And I just think they played hard, and it was a hard-fought win. for sure.
And wanted to talk about Ashlyn Riley here for a second, too. Co-player of the week, averaged 20.5 a game this past week, shot over almost 70%. What have you liked about her growth through the season and through her career right now?
Yeah, I think she's one, I know and the coaching staff and, her teammates in practice know the potential that she has to put points on the board for us. She's always doing the right things, and that's just, the basketball gods giving back. I think she's one that the conference would definitely have to look out for. I don't foresee this being the only time that she's getting an award like co-player of the week for MEC, and so I'm proud of her, and I think that she's early and the good basketball that she's got left in her career.
And you're taking that 8-game win streak into a new week. Starts out with West Liberty on Wednesday. What have you seen out of the Hilltoppers this year?
Yeah, obviously, Coach Kyle Cooper, he's been in the league for quite a while, back to my playing years. West Liberty's always been known to shoot the three-point shot very well. So, making the proper adjustments that we need to win that game, and especially on the road up there. It's a hard gym to play in. Lights are bright. And then they shoot very, very well at home. So making the adjustments that we need to do defensively to be able to win that game is going to be crucial.
And you'll be back inside the Waco Center on Saturday with Wheeling at 2 p.m. But, Coach, we appreciate you coming on in, and good luck this week.
Thank you so much for having me on.
It's the most rewarding time of the year. GoMart's Holly Jolly Rewards are here. Snag specially marked items to earn bonus reward points and game tokens. Because nothing says holiday cheer like stacking rewards higher than Aunt Carol's Fruitcake Tower. Collect all 4 tokens and you'll unwrap an additional 2,500 bonus reward points. So make your list, check it twice, and head to the app for details. Get ready to slay the season with Holly Jolly Rewards at GoMart.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me now is head wrestling coach Dalen Cottrell. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, excited to talk some wrestling.
All right, Coach. It was a big weekend for you guys. You're at the Virginia Duels down in Hampton. You kind of cruised your way through the first 3 over Johns Hopkins, Everett, and Frostburg State. And then you met Findlay in the championship round, beat them 25-20. Had to get those 2 wins at the end with Nick Johnson and Colby Whitehill. How do you feel the weekend went overall for your team?
Yeah, like wrestling is, and a little bit, I think, with having a younger team is we've been up and down. The John Hopkins duel, we knew, right, that we were much better than the first 2 teams as long as we go out there and wrestle. And so I think, honestly, the first one, the guys a little bit, I think some of the guys on John Hopkins were a little bit better than what they thought, right? And some of our guys came out and, got down in matches and had to come back and wrestle a little bit harder. And so, it's just a good lesson that, like, it doesn't matter, who it is, where they're from, what their season's like. And the other thing, too, is, and some people don't know this until they're on the team for the first time or anything else, but, like, we've been an up-and-coming program for years now, right? And we've now established ourselves as one of the, top 10 programs in the country. We get everybody's best shot.
Yep.
Right, all the time. And so, if we're wrestling reserves and it's an opportunity and it's a good social media, if someone beats us now, right, a nice little spot, whether we wrestle our starters or not. And so we get everybody's best shot. That first duel, I don't think it was up to par on how we can wrestle, even though we cruised. Second duel, I thought maybe it might have been the best duel we wrestled the whole weekend against Everett. They're not a bad Division III school and have some really good athletes, in different weight classes there. We had 3 or 4 classes where there's some guys that they're really solid, nationally ranked in Division III, and we went out there and won the matches, and some of them in dominating fashion. So, that was the first day. Was happy with the end of that. Went into the second day, wrestled Frostburg. We only lost 1 match. We forfeited the heavyweight. With Colby's on a little bit of a pitch count, so we
didn't need it anyway.
Yeah, we wrestle him when we need to, and and so we cruised. But in that duel, I really thought that maybe didn't do a good enough job of dominating the individual matchups as well as we should have. Like there was some where I think we won maybe by 7 points, and we were, in my opinion, 10, 11 points better than the team, or whatever it was, right? And so we talked to the guys about that a lot. Like let's not hold matches close. If we're 7 points better than someone, let's go be 7 points better than someone. And then we got a couple guys dinged up in that match too, which I think just in general might leave a little bit more sour taste in my mouth than what a 34-9 win over a MEC rival should feel like. And so, you cruise kind of in that one scoreboard wise, and then go to the final. We have 2 guys that are out in the final who had wrestled the first 3 from getting dinged up in the Frostburg. So, you're down, a little bit there. And in one of those matches we got pinned. So that's probably a 9-point swing. It's a 12-point swing if you count the results from the last duel, because the last duel at that weight we pinned, right? When we wrestled Finlay earlier in the year and we got pinned this year. That's a lot in a duel. So, the duel was really weird against Finlay, to be honest. Like, there was a lot of matches that were kind of blown out, right? Like maybe one way a tech fall or another way a tech fall or a pin. Like, there was multiple pins, multiple times. Both teams had guys on their back who were winning in the match. Like, it was just a weird match, right? It was one of those ones, and I think it goes to, when you're in a finals anywhere, and then that arena, it's big and it's loud, like, there's some extra added a little bit, and so some things happen, when people are getting nervous or they get a little bit of energy from the crowd or the finals, and so, yeah, it was a very unpredictable duel is definitely the way to talk about that one. I didn't expect it to be that close, if I'm being brutally honest. Even with 2 starters out, I expected us to be in a position to where we didn't have to wrestle Colby at the end. And we did. And, some things happen for a reason, because last year that was the kid that messed up Colby's ribs in the first match of the year, and he didn't get to wrestle him all year, and so he got that one back. And pretty emphatically, too. Like, and this is nothing against the Finlay kid or them, because I got great respect for their coach, Sean, and the kid that wrestled. He's tough, but, Colby broke him. Like, one of the worst breaks I've seen in a while in a wrestling match, to where when the match was over, the kid was laying there for 30 seconds. Like, we're waiting on him to get back. And not like just laying there, like hands on his head, like exhausted on his stomach, and Colby just did a really good job. He went down early. The kid's pretty dangerous in different positions, and he got that body lock on Colby that ended up messing up Colby's ribs last year. Colby threw a headlock, missed it, got down early, but he just kept chipping away at him, and he was really controlling the hand fight and the snaps. And in the second, you could kind of see the kid was fading really bad, and then they got in another pretty big, kind of wrestle scramble-ish position. And when he went out of bounds, you could see it, that it was going to happen. And then Colby just stayed on him and broke him. And he broke him right in front of our bench, too. So it was super loud. And this kid was getting it from everybody on our team and Colby. And so, yeah, it was a cool moment.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones where it's like you sit back, even though you're really nervous and it's a lot of ramped up, but you sit back and kind of smile and get to enjoy some of that. Yeah. I think that moment kind of culminated the whole weekend and made it kind of worth the while there. You go down there. And the thing is, you having a close match like that isn't bad.
It's good.
It isn't bad. I didn't expect it. No one expected Finlay to be there. They were the 7 seed. They wrestled their tails off, right? Beat Kutztown, beat a good team in a Moorhead team. Do they have Newberry? Yeah, they beat a good Newberry team in the semis. Like, they deserved to be there, and then they wrestled their butt off. So honestly, kudos to them. They wrestled really well. They had a really good weekend. And so, to them, we got to get better. That's the bottom line of that too. So, we got back after it today. Guys had Monday off. Just lift Monday, and so we got back wrestling today. We got a 2-a-day today, and so we'll go again tonight. A little technique session. Just keep working on getting these guys better, getting them as healthy as we possibly can be over these next 3 weeks.
And you mentioned about getting better, but someone who finally got healthy and was able to look better, Nick Johnson, MEC Wrestler of the Week, had 4 pinfall victories over the weekend. What do you think of his performance over the weekend?
Yeah, I think he just kind of rode off of, we gave him last week off after coming off Midwest, and I think it's just good, just a little reset. But he's looked good all year, right? He had one little oopsie, right, in a match where he got tossed and got down early, and I think he kind of rushed trying to get back into the match, and then ended up on his back again. But then he wrestled the same kid, and he beat him 10-2, right? Like a really, really dominant win. And so, yeah, I think he's very confident right now, wrestling well. I mean, he's a horse, right? Like he's really tough to wrestle. I was wrestling him this morning, and it's just like even top bottom where I'm really good at. It's just like wrestling a mule, right? Like he's just so strong and athletic and fast, and so yeah, I mean he has the tools to be a national champ. That's 100%, right? Like there's nothing, that there's no reason why he can't be a national champ this year. That's just bottom line. He's as good, if not better, than everybody in that class. And so, yeah, really excited with where his season's rolling right now. He looks good. He looks confident. And like this weekend too, something that's really good about it. Like he knew this weekend he wasn't going to have too much competition right down there. And so he was trying to work on new things in matches, right? Like he wasn't just going to his double leg and some of the stuff that he's really good at. He was throwing other stuff in and trying stuff. And I think it's a little bit to his maturity with being a lot older than some of these guys. Is like, he really trusts and listens to what I have to say about everything, right? Like he understands it and has been on both sides. And so he does a really good job of just, constantly trying to get better. And he's one of those guys that he's always smiling. He's always having fun with his wrestling, whether he wins or, loses. Like even the match that he lost, he came off and was kind of smiling and was like, yeah, like that was just not a good performance. Right. And I'm a lot better than that. And so, yeah, I think he's a great person for our young guys to look up to. He's a great leader.
And now coming up, you're coming off the good weekend over in Virginia. Now you got Fairmont State and Tiffin for a home Glenville State try, but it's at Parkersburg High School down it's a hotbed here in West Virginia with wrestling. What are your expectations there as you get Fairmont State and Tiffin?
We'll see what Tiffin throws out. They just went to national duels, and so I know that tournament can be a ringer. And you usually don't come back from that super healthy.
Yeah.
So we'll see what Tiffin throws out at us. At the same time, it is a regional duel, so I would say that they'll throw some guys out there. And then Fairmont, it's a good chance for us to get a wrestle an MEC opponent right before MEC, and so that's one of the biggest rivals here at this whole school. And so it's important for us any time to beat Fairmont in whatever sport it is. And so, we're going to go over there. We're wrestling at Nick Johnson's old high school, and so that'll be cool for him to get a wrestle in front of those, some of the old fans, some of the old people he knows, coaches. But Tiffin's a really good team, top 10 team, top 5 team actually, in the country, or maybe 6. They're right there. They're tough, and so we're going to have to bring our A game to beat those guys. We're going to have to wrestle a lot better than we did against Finlay. And then in the Fairmont match, right, it's getting wins and securing good seeds for the MEC tournament. And again, right, trying to be dominant, because you're going to wrestle those guys in 2 more weeks. So you want to go wrestle and dominate those guys and have it to where when the MEC bracket comes out that the guys on the opposite side are not wanting to wrestle you, right? They're happy about being on the other side of the bracket, and that doesn't happen by again being 10 points better than someone and going out there and winning the match at the end or winning by 1. And so, yeah, we need to make sure that in our duels at 125 or wherever we're starting, we're setting the tone, getting out there, scoring points early. And that can really matter, too, in a duel environment is getting started quick, at 125 or whoever's leading off. Someone out there that is, not afraid to go attack, score points. I think that feeds into the other thing. If you're out there and you're watching your 125 or whoever sit around for 7 minutes and then attack once, it kind of becomes like a theme, right? But when you see that guy firing and shooting shots, right, then it just seems like it follows, And so, it's always nice having Colton at the start of the lineup, someone that gets a lot of wins. I would like him to attack more. We've talked about that, and this weekend I told him over and over again, right? Like, you got to start shooting your single leg. You got to start shooting your single leg. Like, it's there in your matches. It's there in your matches, right? And he's wrestling the guy who's right behind him in the national rankings. Colton's 7th, this kid's 8th. They go into overtime, and boom, he hits the single, limp arm, scores it, right? And he kind of points over me, and I'm like, guys, I promise you, I know what the heck I'm talking about, right? Like, and so, he scores that. And so, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. It'll be cool to wrestle at kind of a neutral site, but somewhere where, most of the fans are going to be for us. Makes it a little bit shorter for Tiffin, helps them out a little bit after having a lot of travel as well. But yeah, Tiffin, like I said, I don't know really what they're going to throw at us. And so probably later in the week, I'll know a little bit more, get their probables and go from there. Fairmont, we kind of know what we'll probably get. And so with them, we want to go be really dominant. And then, with Tiffin, really, accept the challenge and the fight of that one and go out there and try to find that win.
All right, Coach. Well, we appreciate you coming in, and good luck this coming week.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me now is head indoor track and field coach Dan Meyers. Coach, thanks for being here.
Jagger, thanks for having me.
Coach, it's been a while since you've been on. You guys haven't competed since earlier in December. Just kind of what was that break like? You got some time off. The team got some time off. What's it been like, finally getting everybody back?
Yeah, we talked right after our December meet, with the team about – just how important it is that, we're going to be away from each other for a few weeks, just like getting the work in on your own while you're at home. And I felt like we threw some good punches in December. And, I still don't think we had a few teams in our conference compete this like last weekend, which was kind of the opening weekend for January. I just don't think we've seen what every team has so far. I think by the end of this, probably 2 weeks from now, we will. And I think that we had a lot of performances that we were hoping for better in December, but bringing the team back a week early before classes started last week was huge, and I felt like we were off on the ground running and getting everybody back into the swing of things. And for the most part, I think that everyone did the work while no one was watching over break, and it was a much needed break, especially for the cross country runners that had a long season, and they basically had a plan from June to December with not many days off, and they took about 7 to 10 days off, and they look as good as they've looked, in a long time, and that's only with 5 weeks of base training under their belt. So I think from all aspects of the program, I think we're looking really strong, and this will be a good meet this weekend with a competitive meet, but it'll allow us to get a lot of different marks on the board, and it'll kind of lead us into this semester.
And what do you want to see this weekend? Because it's been about 5 or 6 weeks since you've actually competed in a meet. So what do you want to see? It's a full team coming, so just what are you looking for?
Yeah, I think a few different things. I think from our freshmen, just kind of owning the moment. One of our assistants says, pressure is a privilege. And just understanding kind of the pressure that comes along with, being, a track athlete, and there's a lot of eyes on you at these indoor meets, and just, understanding the moment and understanding that every single competition, this isn't like high school, it's when we bring in like a West Virginia kid, they're used to, no matter what school they're coming from, they're used to showing up to a Wednesday meet or a Saturday meet, and the goal is for their team to win that meet. Yeah. We don't even score most of our meets in college. Like our goal every single time we show up is just getting more experience and getting a better mark on the board that gets more people qualified for conference. So getting our freshmen in the mindset of like, I don't care if you win the event. I don't care if you get 8th in the event or even place in the event. If we're getting better each day and we're getting the reps, and I think that's the hugest thing. Especially, Muskegon. Honestly, we always say it's like a budget meet. We it's an opportunity for us to get every single person on our team a mark. But really, though, in the throws and in the jumps, in the horizontal jumps, it's that we have a chance to make a final, and that gives us 6 jumps. And as we kind of go through the season, like next weekend we're taking a group to Ashland, but we're also probably holding most of our throwers back at Muskegon so they can get 6 throws. So there's a lot of different things on how we kind of make the schedule. But kind of going back to what you asked, I think that for our freshmen, it's just the matter of getting some experience. And I think that across the board, getting some more distance marks on the board, good or bad. Everyone was kind of in 5K, 3K kind of mindset in December. We were kind of going off our cross-country fitness, but we're going to get some miles under our belt, some 800, some 3Ks. So we're going to kind of spread and see what our distance groups got this early and kind of plan what our training is going to look like heading into the rest of the semester.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming in. Good luck this coming week.
Thank you.